Went all the way to New York.
Desde hace tiempo se rompieron las cadenas que esclavizaron a los hombres. Soy indiferente, soy de ese niño que va con la frente. Sabes que se buscó lo mejor por donde somos. Aquí estoy establecido en los Estados Unidos. 10 años pasaron.
So, what are you guys doing here?
I
don't know. Just here supporting our brothers, I guess. It's just everyone.
There are no borders. There's nothing that they can do to take us away and help one another out. We're all here together. There's no reason why we should be leaving other humans out of a good country and giving them good opportunities.
Looks awesome. Yeah.
Joe, understand! This is our land! Hey, Joe, understand! This is our land! Joe, understand! This is our land! Joe, understand! This is our land!
¡Deporten al Arpiao! ¡Sí se puede! ¡Arpiao! ¡Racista! ¡Eres terrorista! ¡Arpiao! ¡Racista! ¡Eres terrorista! ¡Arpiao! ¡Racista! ¡Eres terrorista! ¡Arpiao! ¡Racista! ¡Eres terrorista! ¡Arpiao! ¡Racista! ¡Eres terrorista!
Intersect here in Arizona. Perhaps no one in the country has come to serve as an example of the human rights crisis that this policy has unearthed than the shameful administration of Sheriff Arpiao. His wild misuse of state and federal funds to target the most vulnerable and non-violent within his jurisdiction has sent violent crime rates skyrocketing, while his deputized vigilantes roam the communities of Maricopa County in black ski masks, donning automatic weapons, intent on creating a state of terror. Without proper warrants, he raids the homes and workplaces of janitors and gardeners. And routine traffic stops, he detains and deports mothers, violently separating them from their children who are left abandoned on the street. By unlawfully detaining, harassing, and undermining the right to due process, Arpiao arrogantly tramples upon the laws he was empowered to defend. By treating entire communities of workers, subjecting them to a form of racist paramilitary intimidation, treating them as if they were terrorists, Arpiao becomes precisely what he sets out to destroy. And by parading human beings shackled in chain gang stripes in a misguided effort to collectively humiliate and dehumanize an entire population, he reopens the wounds from which we all still suffer by evoking the painful memories of the era of slavery and segregation. And by doing so, has not only brought shame upon the state of Arizona, but is bringing shame upon the entire nation. As head of the so-called Homeland Security Department, she must recognize the dangerous threshold that the 287G agreements have crossed. She must deal directly and quickly with the real threat to peace and security here in Arizona by terminating the 287G agreements with Sheriff Arpiao's office and join the courageous members of Congress who have begun an investigation into his criminal behavior. Screening for those deputized has been thrown out of the window. And as a result, a brutal and new formation has formed. This brutal union of ICE agents and local police, along with the deputization of extreme right-wing elements, is nothing short of a paramilitary terror squad. Formations like this terrorize African-American communities, primarily throughout the South, as black people organized for their civil and human rights in the 50s and 60s. Then those vigilantes were called the Ku Klux Klan, or the White Neighborhood Councils. The clear difference now being that the state and federal government is not only sanctioning them, but funding and training them. The poor and disenfranchised people whom this backwards and racist policy is targeting seek nothing other than the unalienable rights that any man, woman, or child on this planet deserves. They seek nothing other than fair wages, decent livable housing, decent schools for their children, respect for their culture, justice, dignity, and peace. I challenge anyone to argue that these popular aspirations lie in discord with basic democratic values. Now, we have seen the likes of Joe Arpaio come and go throughout history. History has never treated them kindly. But when you depend upon the humiliation of others, the brutalization of others, for your own political gain, then you pitch yourself against millions of people whose daily life revolves around the preservation of their dignity, who will never stop in the struggle to defend it. Joe Arpaio has now put himself right in the middle of the tracks in front of a speeding train, and will be seen as nothing but a stain on the road to progress. To close, I would like to extend this moment to recognize all of the people and all of us here in the state of Arizona whose lives have been turned upside down by the deepening economic crisis. Honest and hardworking people who have had their jobs stolen, their homes, their savings, their livelihoods stolen. And a person in my position can only imagine the effects that this crisis has had upon you. I'm extending this call to you because in these moments when it becomes apparent that the communities that have been so terrorized and scapegoated have nothing to do with the assault upon your livelihood. The names of the people who are assaulting your livelihood are not Garcia, Martinez, Armador, or De La Rocha. They are the heads of Merrill Lynch and AIG. Finally, we are in a position to tear down this myth and join with other workers across this state and across this country to join and struggle against the kind of racist terror that Joe Arpaio is using to distract us and divide us. Thank you for having me. Let's end it.